The honourable member for Edmonton, Meadowlark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Alberta's New Democrats have a long history of standing up for the protection of universal, accessible public services like healthcare and education. We know that cuts in essential services lead to horrible consequences down the road. We also know that for years the previous government neglected necessary repairs in nearly all of our province's infrastructure in the name of a balanced budget. Even when oil prices were at record high, the previous government failed to invest sufficiently in our public systems. They did nothing to curtail the skyrocketing school fees, they allowed tuition to rise over decades, and the Wildrose opposition called for even further cuts, which they continue to do to this day. When our government expands on affordable childcare and nutrition programs, reduces school fees and freezes tuition, we hear crickets from that side of the House. When this government invests in new hospitals and needed infrastructure, more crickets. Mr. Speaker, when the opposition talks about risky economic policies hurting families, perhaps they might look to their best friends to the east, the ones that made massive increases to their PST while cutting almost all of the services their citizens depend on. They removed $67 million from the K-12 system. They eliminated their provincially funded busing services, which is utilized by low-income seniors and rural communities. They reduced post-secondary funding by 5% while raising the education tax by nearly 10%. Mr. Speaker, the opposition might try to deny that they support these measures, but up until a few weeks ago, they were the Saskatchewan government's biggest cheerleaders. If they have a better plan, perhaps they might take a moment from tweeting memes to make a shadow budget longer than 140 characters. Mr. Speaker, I support finding efficiencies and making smart, targeted investments to optimize outcomes, but what I do not support is pretending that a balanced budget is more important than protecting the services that the people in this province depend on. I will continue to be a tireless advocate for my community, as will the rest of my government. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.